Happy time zone, y'all. I'm back with some more feedback of Silksong. Been an awesome adventure so far, but I am looking at like reviews and things like that, and I'm in shock. I'm genuinely in shock that I am seeing some negative reviews. I'm hearing some negativity. The reviews on Steam and stuff like that. I'm seeing some negative things there. I'm also seeing some negative things being said and other chats. Fair warning, y'all, there is going to be like spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers, please click away from the video, because I'm going to be talking about some things. Like, there's criticisms that people have said of Hollow Knight that I feel like are kind of, I don't want to say necessarily unjustified, but like if they had played the game a little bit more, they would have seen things got better, which typically happens in a video game. Like, you start off weak, you start off, you know, with not a lot, and then as the game progresses, like, you get more and more, right? Like, that's typically how things go. I wanted to address these things because I feel like a lot of them are unwarranted. There's some complaints that I'm seeing that the game is harder. I will say that I do agree that the game is harder, but I feel like it makes sense. When you look at the bosses, the first few bosses of Hollow Knight, the first game, the bosses in this game feel like the mid bosses of the first game. I'm not mad about it. Some people are mad about it. I'm not. Like, I feel like the way that this has gone, it's like, I've played a ton of hours in the first game. I know how a Hollow Knight game plays now. So it would make sense to me that the second game would be a bit harder because we know what we're doing. We are Hollow Knight like pros at this point because it's been out for years. A lot of people who have done multiple playthroughs and stuff like that have beaten Absrad. I like it. I like that it's a little more difficult. I find that to be okay because, again, we have, you know, that first experience and knowing what's gonna, like, we have an idea of what things are gonna be like, right? Because while there's going to be a lot of things that are different about Silksong because it's a different game, like it's a new game, Hornet is a completely different character than what we played, which kind of goes into the criticism that even I had, okay? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I had this criticism. I was about 5 to 6 hours into the game, maybe 7, and I was like, this downward diagonal pogo, new way of pogoing, I don't like. I still don't necessarily care for it. However, now that I've played the game, and this is spoiler, you don't have to play that. You don't have to use that if you don't want to. As you play the game and progress the game, you get what's called crests, and these crests changes up the fighting style. It changes up things. So like if you wanted, those who like that downward diagonal attack, they can use that if they want to. And if you don't want to, you can use something else. And people have been, I've also heard people saying that, you know, they haven't found a lot of charms and things like that that like really change up their gameplay and stuff in the way that the first game did. If you actually like play more and you see more of the game, you will find that there are ways to change the game. They're just not in the form of what we know. Like, you have not only your crests, you have your spell abilities that you can use as well, like Silk Dance or whatever, where it does the AoE around her, or she launches her needle forward with silk on the end of it. Like, you have different ways of setting up your character and play the way you want to play, and I'm seeing that more and more as I play the game. It's mind-blowing to me that somebody in, like I said, one of the reviews had like 4 hours on it. This person played 4 hours and was complaining about a bunch of this type of stuff. And it's like, think about whenever you first started playing Hollow Knight. What were your initial reactions 4 hours in? I know that when I started playing Hollow Knight for the very, very first time, my very first time playing it, I quit. I quit playing the game for months because I was like, I'm stuck. Where am I supposed to go? I felt like I had been everywhere. I was new to Metroidvania. I hadn't played a platformer in years. So whenever I went to this game, it was a whole new world to me, and I had to get used to it. I had to change my perspective. And when I did, I found a beautiful game at the end of it. And I feel like people need to do that with this. You're going to be weak. You're going to be, you know, rough. It's going to be rough at the start. It took me so long to get everything completed in the first game. To think that you know the entirety of the game and you like have these super strong opinions when you're only 4 hours in. How many times did you die on bosses that you would have never thought to have died, like you will never die to again in the first game, just because you're a veteran player? That's like saying you're gonna die to the false knight. You know what I mean? Like, a new person would, but like somebody who's 112% of the game goes to play Hollow Knight again, the first game, and like you think they would die on any of the first few bosses? Like, you're crazy. And I was seeing things about currency not being plentiful and all that stuff always being broke, it partially due to the game being harder. Something that I do personally, and I don't know how many other people do this, I will play a game, I'll play it for a few hours, and then I'll start over. And the reason why I start over is because typically what happens, and this is part of the complaining that I'm seeing, you can get so much more money on a second playthrough because you know what you're doing, right? There's that first bit of perspective. You're going to struggle. You're going to have a hard time. You're going to die a lot. And doing that, like, is it frustrating? Yes. But doing that, you'll get rewarded the next playthrough because you know what you're doing. The next playthrough, there was difficulties that I had, but I didn't die nowhere near the amount of time that I did in my first playthrough that I'm doing. But I died like 3 or 4 times, like a second time, and lost all of my currency in the first, because that part is still the same, where it's like if you die and then you die again by like trying to get back where you died at to get like your money and stuff back. I died 3 times a second time trying to get back to myself. I have not done that at all in my second playthrough. And I have way more rosaries than I could possibly know what to do with at the moment. And I'm 9 hours into my second playthrough. There is more exploring. There is more to do. And honestly, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a great thing. Is it annoying that a lot of things take 2 masks now instead of 1? Yes, it's a little bit of an annoying thing. But again, I have my stream playthrough that I'm doing, and then I have my off-stream playthrough because I don't want to, you know, progress and not have that on stream. But my second playthrough has just been going so much smoother. People are jumping the gun, basically. You know, there are some people who genuinely may not like this, and you know, fair to you, but I don't think it's as different as people think it is. There's a lot here to this game. Hell, it was in development for 8 years. There's going to be so much more to this game. I don't think people realize just how much, like, how many assets did they reuse? I was watching another content creator talk to a dev about some of the new things that they had added, and one thing they had gotten on the subject about was the fact that there were more updates being pushed out for this particular game, and the developer was literally saying stuff about, Well, it's easier for us to push out these updates and get things out now and change things because we have our own assets now, because they were using a lot of Unity assets. And now that they have their own and they can go in and change them and just, you know, tweak them just a little bit, it makes the process so much faster. So to me, in my mind, I'm thinking like 8 years. I don't know how long the first game took. It may have taken the same amount of time, but think about like how much they didn't have to do, those extra steps that they had to take with the first game that they didn't necessarily have to take with this game, and how much time and energy they were able to put in other things. I'm 9 hours in and I feel like that shows already. Like, you just gotta know where to look. You have to, like, this is a Hollow Knight game. You have to search every nook and cranny and look around. Like, explore. This is a Metroidvania game after all. But either way, that's kind of my review. I was gonna go into, like, the positive things, but I feel like me defending some of these, like, things have been as a showcase of how good I think this game is so far. To me, jumping the gun, putting a review up saying you don't recommend the game and these are the problems, only 4 hours in, I'm just like, man, if I had wrote a review that same day that I put down Silksong because I got lost and frustrated, and then never touched the game again because I was pissed off at the moment, instead of like trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong, I would have never finished Hollow Knight. I would have never 100% the achievement and felt that like gamer fulfillment that's so exciting and that we long for in modern gaming these days. That's missing in a lot of AAA games. If you're feeling a certain way about it, because I certainly did. You could go back and watch my first impressions video. There was a couple of things I was complaining about, and now I'm changing my tune because I've played more and I've realized there's more than what I thought. And if you're feeling that way, if you're one of those people that put a negative review and said all of these things, give it another shot. Play the game. Get about halfway through, or what you feel like maybe halfway through. Start a new run. Start over. Give yourself a better chance, because that next run's gonna go smoother. Like, you will have an easier time the next time around because you know where, like, you're going a bit more. You know what you're doing a bit more. You're not gonna die as many times because you know what you're doing. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree with some of these people? Do you hate it? Do you love it? I personally love it so far. So far, I am loving it. I was certainly feeling a certain way, like some of these other people, but like the more I'm playing, the more of the vision I'm seeing. And you gotta think outside the box a little bit. We need to give it a little bit more time. It is harder. I will say that. It is definitely harder, but I feel like it's okay. I feel like it's okay. I don't feel like I'm spending any more time on this game than I did in the first game with difficult bosses. There have been probably a couple of bosses that I've struggled on and died a lot too, but it wasn't more than some of the difficult bosses in the first game. Like, they really think back on your first playthrough of Hollow Knight, the first game, and think of the challenges you faced, and think of the bosses that you beat your head against because they were difficult to you at first, that you wouldn't dream of dying to today because you're a veteran player of the game. But anyways, I just figured I would give a different perspective. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely think that this game is good. I genuinely feel like this game is definitely, so far, at least, in my opinion, may change later. But right now, I'm feeling like this is definitely on par with the first game. It is. Disagree with me all you want to. And the fact that it's $20 freaking dollars. And of course, the journalists and the AAA companies are getting pissed off because Silksong has been a massive success. As it should. As it fucking should. But anyways, I'm gonna get going. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think about this game. Do you agree with the people that are complaining about certain aspects of this game so far? Do you agree with me that they are just, these are their just first impressions? This is their frustration of playing a new game and not knowing everything and having to learn as they go and just not having the patience for it. Do you think it's that? Do you think it's, you know, there's truth to what they say? Let me know in the comment section below what you think. I'll be reading comments and stuff. Let's have a discussion. I'll catch y'all next time.